Hey. Hello, Richard.
Hello, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm really well, thank you. It's nice to see you.
Nice to see you and to have you in our conference today.
Yes.
Okay, you have issues
I'm going to
with
put my camera on in.
Yeah, I noticed your connection is weak, so probably this is a good decision. You need
Yeah, the
help with
connection is
loading your
it's
presentation.
not very good. Yes, it's nearly finished. It's got 3% left to load, then it's ready to go.
Oh, very good. Okay, then I'll go ahead
2%.
and okay, so I'll introduce you to the audience until it is ready. Okay, the last features presentation of the day will be given by Dr. Richard Kirkham. Dr. Richard Kirkham is a reader in civil engineering at the University of Manchester, Department of Mechanical, Aerospace and Civil Engineering. He is alumnus of the University of Liverpool School of Architecture, bachelor degree in 1999 and PhD in 2002, and conducted his postdoctoral research at Cranfield University School of Industrial and Manufacturing Sciences. Richard held numerous leadership roles at Manchester, including the Thomas Ashton Institute for Risk and Regulation, the Manchester Urban Institute, and the ESRC-funded Project X as Chair of Research Development Board. Richard has published extensively and with colleagues at the British University. His current projects include studies in project delivery with Ministry of Justice, Highways England, and he is leading a work package in the COVID-19 Health and Safety Executive Core National Program led by Sir Patrick Vallance, UK Government Chief Scientist. Dr. Richard Kirkham today will present to us Project X, 5 years of research into major government projects and programs. So, Richard, the floor is yours.
Assalamu alaikum. Let me first say thank you. I am delighted and very proud to be able to join you today. I'm grateful for the invitation from Vice-Chancellor Dr. Abdullah Al-Shamsi and the Dean of Research, Dr. Khalid Al-Amari. The British University in Dubai is a very special institution, and I am very pleased to represent the University of Manchester here today. I thought I may begin by sharing some photos of the past. I've been involved with the British University in Dubai for over 10 years now, and here are some of the highlights of my time working with BUID. Here in the top left is Vice-Chancellor and Maria, and I think I can see the late Professor Robert Wally there, and I think that was one of our Senate meetings many years ago, and I fondly remember attending those meetings. On the right is Professor Andrew Gale, who was involved at the University of Manchester in helping to establish the British University in Dubai. Andy has now retired from the university, but does hold a post at another institution. And Andy was a very important and a very passionate advocate for BUID. On the bottom left is Dr. Maria Papadaki, who was one of my former research assistants in Manchester, and then, of course, joined BUID as a lecturer. And we're very proud of Maria's achievements, and she's sat there with one of our former BUID colleagues, Mary Mayall. There's a lovely picture of Dr. Khalid at the bottom there with my good friend Professor Abdul Halim. I've always enjoyed working with you gentlemen, and I hope to continue to do so in the future. And on the bottom right is Fazana, and Fazana is a person who we're all very proud of. Her International Journal of Project Management paper, published with Professor Ashley Pinnington, is one of the highest cited journal articles in the International Journal of Project Management, which is a fantastic achievement. I believe that since publication it's achieved over 800 citations, which is very, very impressive. I would also wish to extend my condolences to Vice-Chancellor Abdullah Al-Shamsi and all staff at the British University in Dubai following the sad news of the death of the former chair of the British Business Group and founding member of the British University in Dubai, David May. We all found David to be an exceptionally kind and generous man, and his legacy is what we see today in BUID, a very exciting, very prosperous, and very, very brilliant institution. So I'd like to talk to you a little bit today about what we're doing at the University of Manchester, particularly in the field of project studies and project research. This, of course, has been a key focus of our relationship with BUID since 2003. You may know that the University of Manchester is recognised as one of the world's leading centres of excellence in project studies. And our work is organised around 5 main thematic areas, and you can see those on the slide there. So at the top, principles of managing projects. Manchester is often regarded as the home of project management. The Iron Triangle, which many of you will be aware of, was developed at the university, as was the most widely used civil engineering contract, the new engineering contract that was developed by Mr. Barnes, and he did that as part of his PhD with Professor Stephen Wern. People and professional practice is a really kind of key part of our work. So much of what we do is industry targeted research. And that very much reflects the ethos at the British University in Dubai, where yes, we embrace theory, but we seek to apply theory to professional practice. And one of the main areas of our work at the moment is the Thomas Ashton Institute, which is partly funded by the Lloyd's Register Foundation. And we are doing research into not just health and safety, but more broadly its applications to projects, programs, portfolios. So I'll talk to you a bit more about that in a sec. We also look at business models and product service systems, and that's something, of course, that's a very timely area, particularly in terms of the work that BUID's doing at the moment. Political economy, so we're heavily involved in a government-supported project called Project X, and I'll talk to you a bit more about that in a second. And of course, finally, pedagogical practices. Our MSc at Manchester in project management is one of the world's most popular programs. This year we have 300 students taking our MSc, and that's been a common trend certainly over the last 5 or 6 years or so. It's a huge financial contributor to the university, as well as the scholarship that we produce. So I'd like to talk to you about some of our kind of areas of research, and I'll begin with the Thomas Ashton Institute. So the Institute was launched maybe 4 years ago now, and it's a joint collaboration between the University of Manchester and the government's Health and Safety Executive. And the core purpose of the Institute is to develop world-class research that will create a safe working environment across a range of sectors: engineering, manufacturing, healthcare. Our work is organised around 6 key themes: safer structures, social change and ageing, health and well-being, digitisation, resilience in complex systems, which is the theme I lead, and also people. The Institute is co-directed by Professor Neil Bourne, who is the lead physicist at the Science and Technology Facilities Laboratory at Harwell near Oxford, which is where the University of Manchester has its synchrotron base. And he works closely with the government Chief Scientific Advisor in the Health and Safety Executive, Professor Andrew Curran. And our ambition really is to work closely with the civil service to deliver impactful research for society. So the Institute has a number of activities which are currently taking place. We have a number of specific targeted projects that are looking at major challenges in government project delivery, in particular the risks associated with digital transition and how to manage existing legacy ICT infrastructures. We're also looking at behaviour change as well. So how do government projects and programmes encourage behaviour change, both in terms of citizens and also in the civil service? And of course, we know from the COVID pandemic that understanding citizen behaviour is really, really important. So that particular piece of work in particular has attracted a great deal of interest. At the top right, you can see Fiona and Joe, who are 2 senior civil servants in the Cabinet Office. They're working with us on research projects which are very much aligned with government priorities in their respective departments. I'll talk to you about those projects a little bit later on. We have the Discovering Safety programme, which is funded by the Lloyd's Register. So you'll be familiar with Lloyd's, perhaps, the organisation which undertakes research mainly in the mercantile and the shipping sector, but essentially it's about insurance and risk. So my colleagues Bill and Clara are doing 2 projects there as part of the Discovering Safety programme. And we continue to strengthen our relationship with the British University in Dubai through the Institute. We are looking to develop a better understanding of how digitisation and distributed ledger technologies such as blockchain can be used in a range of sectors. So as you can see there on the slide, Maria Papadaki has been heavily involved in working on that. And it was great to see her and colleagues in the Dubai Blockchain Centre hosting civil servants from Her Majesty's Revenue and Customs this year to talk about some of the opportunities that those technologies may present. And then finally at the bottom, we've got our current project, which Dr. Alamari mentioned at the start, our work for Sir Patrick Vallance on understanding the impacts of COVID-19 transmission on the civil and construction sector and how we can support that industry as part of the UK's economic recovery. So yeah, this project for Sir Patrick Vallance will be reporting back in 10 days' time, so there's no pressure on me. I've got lots of work to do in the next couple of days to get the report completed. But this is really, really important because the Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, has made it very clear that he expects to see the construction industry and the civil engineering sector in particular leading the UK's economic recovery out of COVID. And of course, this is a very common strategy in governments around the world. Investing in infrastructure is often seen as a good way of fiscal and economic stimulus. So the plans in the UK to build more roads, more railways, more nuclear power stations using small, medium-sized reactors, these are crucial, and therefore we need to think about how we can deliver those projects in a safe way, bearing in mind that we will have to learn to live with the COVID-19 pandemic for many, many years to come. It's not going to go away, so we have to find a way of living with it. So our work is developing existing strategies that have been published around in the Treasury on the National Infrastructure Strategy, and also in the Construction Playbook, which was published just before Christmas. Just to develop the distributed ledger and blockchain technology theme a little bit further, clearly this is an area that's still developing, but it's fantastic to see how the British University in Dubai has shown leadership in this area, particularly with the use of blockchain in certification of BUID degrees. Dr. Papadaki has just published a paper with her colleague, Ioannis Kanamatis, on blockchain technology in Middle East and North Africa, which is brilliant. But also great to see BUID supporting government organisations in Dubai who are looking to develop capabilities in distributed ledger and blockchain. And I know that Khaled has been working really, really hard on building really strong connections with government departments, which is absolutely fantastic, because for us as academics, being able to support government priorities is something that's really, really important. So it was good to see the Deputy Ambassador attending the recent event of the Dubai Blockchain Centre with HM Revenue and Customs. And of course, BUID has recently signed an MOU with the Blockchain Centre and the University of Nicosia. So BUID is definitely ahead of the University of Manchester in this regard, and we're watching you and hoping to support you as much as we possibly can in that area. So that's kind of stuff that's going on in the Thomas Ashton Institute. I also lead the project delivery research theme in the Manchester Urban Institute. So this is an institute based in the Faculty of Humanities rather than in the Faculty of Engineering where I'm based. So we're in the first year of this at the moment, and we have a number of projects that are taking place. One of those is to work with Highways England on the new A303 Stonehenge Tunnel project, which is a really exciting project in the sense that it involves building a tunnel underneath the UNESCO World Heritage Site in the southwest of England. So we're going to be working with the team to understand how the potential benefits of that investment can be driven out, both in the short-term delivery of the civil engineering works and then the longer-term benefits realisation to local and regional and national economies. And that project is almost running in parallel with Dr. Alamari's funded project with the government of Dubai RTA, who are also very interested in understanding how infrastructure investments can deliver benefits beyond the ones that you would normally expect to see in the business case, such as time savings, reduced congestion, etc. And Project X, which was the title of today's presentation, this is something I'm exceptionally proud of at Manchester. We have been involved in leading this activity for some 6 years now, working with colleagues at the University of Oxford, Leeds, UCL Bath, Edinburgh University, Cranfield, and University of Sussex. And Project X is essentially concerned with bringing world-leading experts in project studies into government to tackle government priorities. So we look at a whole range of areas of research, from understanding success and value through to front-end, back-end management practices, how we use data to improve performance, how we use government assurance reviews and reporting to improve performance, and then finally, how we use knowledge management and capability to inform government transformation. So we work with and directly with government departments to deliver this research, and we are funded by the government's Economic and Social Research Council, so it's quite prestigious research funding as well. And yeah, we've got some new universities that joined recently, including the University of Leeds and Warwick University. So the project is growing, and we've been involved in quite a few things in Parliament, which I'll share with you in a second. But I was keen to mention Project X because Vice-Chancellor Professor Abdullah Al-Shamsi very kindly gave a keynote speech to senior civil servants. I think this was back in 2018 or maybe 2017, can't quite remember the date, but it was brilliant to be able to have a live link into Dubai to hear from Vice-Chancellor and to show how project studies and project management, which are clearly very important in UK government, are also priorities in Dubai as well. And clearly that's reflected in the success of the project management MSc and PhD in Dubai. And there's a picture in the top right hand corner there of one of the former Buid professors, Paul Gardner, who's now in Schema in Lille, and there's Maria there. And then in the bottom right is Professor Terry Harrington, who is the head of the complex infrastructure programme at Highways England. She very kindly joined us in Dubai a few years ago to give a talk about her work in Highways England. So Project X started off as a little bit of a pet project in the Cabinet Office, just to try and get some academics to come and speak to senior civil servants and provide advice and guidance on how to use research to improve project delivery. And that came on the back of a Public Accounts Committee inquiry in the House of Parliament into major project delivery. So we started to develop our research to address some of the concerns that the Public Accounts Committee had raised. And from that point, it really started to grow. And we've been involved in quite some challenging projects over the last couple of years. We've also been invited to give oral evidence to the House of Parliament Public Administration and Constitutional Affairs Committee, and we also wanted to talk a little bit more about the work that might be able to do in supporting Highways England and its future development programme as well. So we're just waiting at the moment to see what our funding settlement will be for the next 10 years, but we're very, very keen to continue this work going forward. Alongside the research we've been doing in Project X, we are also heavily involved at Manchester with the Association for Project Management. And of course, you'll be aware of the APM. It accredits the BUID programmes. So we've got 2 projects that are funded this year as part of the APM scheme. One is being delivered by my PhD student, Sarah Coleman. She's looking at the value of assurance management practices. And my colleague, Dr. Mohammed Abadi, he's also undertaking some research on circular economy in construction projects. We're doing some really interesting stuff as well on wellbeing, and I know that this is something that's very close to the heart of the Vice-Chancellor. It's really important that project professionals not only develop their technical skills, but that they also develop their ability to maintain good well-being, because working in projects can be really, really stressful. So my colleague, Dr. Clara Chung, has been working with the APM to survey project professionals and understand what some of the factors are that may affect well-being and how individuals and organisations can address those. We've also done some work on productivity, so understanding the relationship between successful projects and wider productivity. That initial work was led by Professor Paul Chan, who has recently left the University of Manchester to join TU Delft in the Netherlands, so he's leading a team there now. But this is really kind of interesting work in the sense that there is now a clear recognition of the relationship between good project management and organisational productivity and the wider productivity of the UK industry sectors. And yeah, so we've just received the latest publication from the House of Parliament on the inquiry into major projects in government, and you can see myself and a couple of my colleagues from Project X there appearing before the Select Committee, where we were asked a number of quite hard questions about why it's problematic for government to deliver projects and programmes. It was a bit of a stressful experience, that, not one I'd care to repeat anytime soon. But we've identified a number of real challenging issues. But often the main problem is the relationship between government policy and then project delivery and operations. So the government has, quite rightly, the authority under our democratic processes to decide what it would like to spend its money on, because that's how it gets elected. But often ministers do not really think that clearly about whether their ideas can actually be delivered or not. Which can be quite frustrating. So yeah, we've been trying to look at how government ministers can better understand how projects are delivered and what the challenges and complexities are, and then to recognise those in their announcements and proposals for new projects and programmes. So we're continuing to do all of that. And then yeah, just finally to finish, two of my two of my postgraduate research students at the moment are working on very specific projects to kind of help with that problem. So Fiona, who's the head of the government project delivery profession, is looking at research into transitioning projects from close out into operations and how you do that successfully. And then Jo is focusing her work on transformation. So how do we set transformation projects up for success right from the beginning, and how do we try and build those success factors into the business case? So conscious that I've been talking for about half an hour or so, so I'm going to stop there, Khaled, if that's okay with you.
Yes, thank you very much, Richard. I would like to express our gratitude to you for your continued support to the British University and its faculty and students, and for taking from your time on this Saturday to participate and be part of our conference and to contribute with success. So I really want to thank you for that, Richard. I know the students are going to their tracks since they have their presentations. Uh, Anyone not having another track who wants to ask a question, please go ahead.
There's been a comment in the box, Khaled, from Anissa, and she says, I would like to see more engagement between Buid students and Manchester students and faculty. It will be great to invite Buid PhD students to attend some defence presentations for Manchester University. So we absolutely will continue to try and arrange those meetings once the travel restrictions are lifted. I'm always delighted to receive Buid students at the University of Manchester and have done over the last decade. Khaled and I had a very nice time in Manchester during his last visit, and I'm hoping to be able to come back to see you all in Dubai very, very soon as well. So yes, I couldn't agree more with you. I think that's really important, and we will certainly do that.
Okay, Richard, are the Vivas at Manchester open access or are they restricted?
So, they are, the university rules are that they can be attended by students of the University of Manchester, but no others. So we do not have a public defence of a PhD in the same way that some of the other institutions would do. My personal view is I would prefer us to have open defences, but I'm not in charge of the rules.
All right. Okay, Richard, thank you very much. Enjoy what's left from your weekend. We really enjoyed having you today in our conference, and we're looking forward to meeting you again very soon.
Yes, and if any of the students who've attended today would like to get in touch, I will put my email address in the chat box, and it would be really nice to hear from you. I also run a series of seminars for my students, and I've been more than happy to invite any of the Buid PhD students to come along and join us.
Okay. Thank you very much, Richard, for sharing your email with our students. And thank you for being here today, and we look forward to talking to you and meeting you very soon.
Thank you ever so much.